Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer 40k Combat Patrol magazine. Now, as per usual, with all these videos, if you like them, obviously, why not give the video a thumbs up? If you haven't already, or if you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button? And last but by no means least, if you'd like to, drop a comment down below. One, goes a massive way to helping out the channel. And two, I love hearing back from you guys, whether you're just dropping by to say hello, whether you're, I don't know, you may want to comment and say which faction has been your favourite, if there's certain things about the next edition that you're hoping to see, or there's certain colour schemes that you really like, or anything like that, or even if you have some obscure lore for Warhammer 40k that you want to share and it's been burning a hole in your brain and you've got to tell more people about it, why not drop it in the comments down below? Super fun. I really enjoy reading all the comments and replying to everybody that I can, and it's, it might provide some really useful information for somebody else later down the line. You never know. Anywho, this week we are on the penultimate issue. We are on issue 89 of good old Combat Patrol magazine. It is part 1 of 2 of the good old Chaos Space Marines, or if you wanted to, World Eaters, good old Maulerfiend mini, or you can turn it into a Forge Fiend. Entirely up to you which one you really want to go for. Both are pretty cool. They are kind of like demonic engines or demons, kind of clad and being utilised for nefarious purposes, as per Chaos likes to do, and all that good stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's obviously a big mini, so it'll be really good fun, and there are a lot of little details to paint. I'm not going to lie to you, this type of mini, the best way to do it, because of all the flat areas, is going to be spray paint when you come to painting it. Brush painting over large flat areas, it can be a bit of a nightmare. If you undercoat or prime using a spray paint, you will have much better results. But anyway, if you wanted to make this into a Forge Fiend, you can do. If you want to keep it as a Maulerfiend, you can do. If you want the Forge Fiend build instructions, honestly, Google is your best friend. You will find them on there. So you have both options to go for, depending on which takes your fancy. So either's pretty good. Personally, I must admit, I'm going to just go with Maulerfiend. I can't be bothered with doing anything else. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Really cool unit. Obviously, it's probably one of the biggest units that we've had with this magazine's run, so it'll be really good fun. So happy days there. And obviously, you need to keep that sprue safe, because the second part will be next week and everything like that. Now, obviously, because it's part 1 of 2, we have our build guide at the very beginning of this issue. So assembling it, there are some parts that are very blatantly obvious that you can put together. However, there are going to be parts that are missing from this week, so you're going to need to wait until next week to really build it all together. But it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty nifty. There's, with the Maulerfiend, it's kind of designed pretty much only in one way. But, you have ways and means of building the Forge Fiend with it all. But yeah, if you're only building one of the builds, obviously you are going to have some spare parts. Do with them as you will. If you take them down to your local Games Workshop store, well, Warhammer store now, as they're called, you very hopefully will have one of the recycle boxes. You can chuck it in there and recycle your sprue, which obviously goes a long way to helping the environment and all that good stuff. Anywho, we are going to talk about painting. So there is a paint guide here, and it's all about optional updates. So you do not have to have done all of these little bits, but it can make the difference to your mini. So if you wanted to, for instance, for librarians, and make it stand out a little bit better, it has all that intricate detail, you can utilize a very thin down white scar to kind of panel line is probably the best way of describing it for all them intricate details. You can get panel liner pens, which will do it all in one go if you wanted to as well. So let it run into all them areas. Obviously clean it up with a little bit with a clean brush, just wet it slightly and use it to soak up the excess paint, and that type of thing can work really, really well. And then if you wanted to go back over it with Calgar blue to make it 2 different shades of blue, you can do. If you're going for an ultramarine, say, anyway. If you've not gone for ultramarines and you've gone for a different colour scheme, obviously utilise the colours that match that colour scheme. Or, you know, have fun with it and do it bright pink. Entirely up to you. Anyway, that's one way of updating our good old librarian. Then, obviously, you have extra bits and pieces like the coils for the plasma rifles and such like that. This actually is a really, really good way of doing it. So, base coating it over with Corax White, using Calgar Blue, going in gaps with Macragge Blue, and then finishing it off with White Scar to bring it up. Works very, very well. Or if you want the glowing red, you can do. But, yeah, it all works very, very well. So, it's a pretty decent way of kind of bringing up them plasma weapons and making them look a little bit brighter and a little bit more vibrant. If you want to go green, you can go green. If you want to go yellow, you can go yellow. There are many ways of doing it, but blue is generally one of the more common, and so is the reddish kind of colours as well. So, your choice. Anywho, if you're going through all of that, you can do, and it'll look pretty cool, and it brings another level to your minis. Obviously, you also have things like fire for things like the kind of a Molotov cocktail that that some grots are carrying. You have things like the flames on the back of the good old chappie from the I've forgotten his name. I've forgotten what he is. And all that top stuff, and even the sensor bearers and all that top stuff will have smoke on there. So you have these little flame areas that you can add to your minis, including the base of your good old Infernus Marine, which was our exclusive Furnace Marine, if I remember rightly, and even things like the plasma axes for the good old Chthonian Berserks from the good old Leagues of Votann as well, which is really, really cool. So it's always very good to have these little tips and tricks of how to do it. With doing things like that, if you want to wet blend, you can do. I'm not going to lie, I'm not great at wet blending. But obviously you can wet blend to kind of smooth out that transition between colours. So if you're using with thinned down paint, with a wet brush you can kind of mix them paints in, and it all spread and kind of has a lighter change between the different hues, which is a nice little way of doing an extra bit of technique to it. Then obviously you've got things like hazard stripes. I'm not going to lie, hazard stripes can be a bit of a pain in the backside to paint, because getting it in that straight line can be a little bit awkward when you're going around something like the cables and stuff like that. It can be done, it's just not the most straightforward. If you'd really want to get it perfect, there is obviously, you can get things like the ultra very, very thin masking tapes that you can get from places like Green Stuff World and stuff like that are low tack. You can use that to wrap around your good old parts of your minis and do it that way. However, I'm not going to lie, even that can be a bit fiddly, and you may think that that gap is probably a little bit too big when you're using tape that thick. So, entirely up to you. Obviously, you're not going to be using tape that thick though. But there are ways of doing it, and obviously you can get thinner tapes. So I must admit, I actually have one here, although it's been in a drawer for a while, so it's been a bit battered. But, you know, super thin. So you can get packs of them, which can elevate your, and make things like hazard stripes very, very, very easy, or a little bit easier at least. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. And obviously, if you're using the hazard stripes, it does work very, very well, especially on things like the orcs. It makes some cables stand out a lot better. So, happy days. Some very, very good little painting tips to just bring a little bit extra to your minis. Entirely up to you if you utilise them or not. If you're happy with what you've already got, then you don't need to be doing any of this. If you'd like to carry on doing things like that though, and you want to improve and make changes and make different kind of, make your minis stand out a little tiny bit better and add that extra little bit of extra detail, you can do. It's a very, very good way of doing it. Moving on from there, we get a bit of fiction. So, Khorne's Due. So, good old World Eaters fiction here. Not gonna lie, Khorne, obviously the chaos god of blood, murder, skulls, war, wrath, destruction, everything. Pretty cool stuff. And obviously, you know, there are some really, really unique bits of lore to do with Khorne and the followers of Khorne as well. So, pretty cool stuff. Obviously, up to you if you want to read it or not. I will probably get round to it at some point. I don't know when. At the moment, still reading Legends of Sigmar, getting close to the end of that now. And then I have Verizon Dagash to kind of read through as well. So it might take a while. Anywho, moving on from there. We have our good old collect page for the Maulerfiend. Obviously, you can give it its unit name. Tick off whether you've built it, painted it, played with it, and all that good stuff. Obviously, it is a demon engine, so you get a little gump there for the lore to do with them. Not much, but, you know, something. And you got your data sheet on the other side. So, obviously, it does have some pretty cool weaponry. So, it has its Maulerfiend fists. It's very, well, it's entirely melee-based. But, you know, it's a big, chunky boy, and it's going to take a bit of hammering to kind of take it down on the battlefield, which will be pretty cool. So, and obviously we're going to get more and more tips and tricks of how to utilize the Maulerfiend as well. Anyway, moving on from there, we have new campaign. So Astra Militarum versus World Eaters, obviously very, very handy to have. Going up, display of might, facing off against each other. A little bit of fighty, and pretty cool stuff, and, you know, could be really, really good fun. Personally, I'd go with Astra Militarum on that. However, I know for a fact that World Eaters can be quite challenging. So, it's essentially having humans versus Space Marines, but, yeah, a little bit niftier. But yeah, really, really cool stuff, and it's a really good one. And next week there'll be one, maybe two scenarios, I think, off the top of my head. I think it'll be one. I may be very wrong on that, but that should have all of it rounded off. And obviously, we'll also have a few other little bits and pieces. And of course, talking about next week, we will have issue 90, the last issue, and part 2 of 2 for our Maulerfiend. So we'll get the base and the other sprue, so we can build the entire lot and get going with it. We'll get a new scenario, we'll get more information about the Arcs of Omen as well. So, pretty cool stuff. Now, before I go, I just want to say one more thing. If you are in the UK and you've got the time and you can get there and everything like that, and obviously you can still get a ticket, obviously next week is bank holiday week here in the UK, going into the very, very back end of May. On the 29th of May, going through to the 31st of May, if you're near the NEC, you may be very, very interested in UK Games Expo. It's really, really good fun. I go every year. I always generally go on a Friday. You can pick up minis, you can pick up paints, you can find new games, you can find board games, card games, everything. You can pick up D&D stuff. You can get loads of little bits and pieces. I mean, last year I think I came back with 3 different RPGs from Call of Cthulhu, Warhammer Fantasy, and Achtung Cthulhu. I came back with some Rumble Slam figures. I'm trying to think what else I came back with. I came back with quite a lot of stuff. I came back with some more Warhammer stuff. Good old Warhammer are actually going to be back there. They didn't go last year. I'm not too sure if they, can't remember if they went the year before, but last year they weren't there. This year they're there. If you go to the Warhammer stall, they have 2 event exclusive minis. You can only get them at official Warhammer events, including UK Games Expo. which will also be part of their ongoing campaign as well, the battles and everything like that. So you can watch some people play Warhammer and other games. So really, really cool stuff. So happy days. Right then. In all honesty, that is more than enough from me. I think I've kept you far too long. Obviously, do the usual. Like, subscribe, comment down below. It's super cool and it's super appreciated. But for now, thank you very, very, very much for watching. And yeah, I will see you very soon for good old Warhammer Age of Sigmar Spearhead. But bye now.